I'm cooking with gas. Let's
Okay,
do it.
who's asking questions?
You can look at me if you want, or you. Well, I didn't get your name.
The newbie.
What's your name?
I'm Amy.
Amy, nice
Yeah.
to meet you, Amy. You could look at Amy if you like.
Okay.
Okay. You want to give us a rundown of what?
Yeah, first Rhonda, R-O-N-D-A. Last name is Scholting, S-C-H-O-L-T-I-N-G. Public Information Officer at West Metro Fire Rescue. We got the first few calls around 1:30 this afternoon from folks who were actually driving down Morrison Road and saw the fire on the south side of the road. They were describing it as it was going, probably for the first few minutes that we were getting calls, as it was growing, it was moving to the east. Firefighters got on scene and that's what they saw, was a fire moving very quickly to the east and towards some homes and some apartments around Owen Lane and Morrison Road.
You say it's almost fully contained. Where are we with that as of right now?
Well, I don't have a containment percentage for you, but there is a great deal of containment, I can say, just because it backs up to the road, and we consider Morrison Road as a containment line. The fire is mostly out. There are still some pockets of fuel that are burning, mostly areas where there is some grass and underbrush and small tree growth on the golf course, the Fox Hollow golf course.
I know a lot of people who live in the Fox Hollow and Homestead neighborhoods want to know, when can we get back home?
You know, right now we're not letting people back in their homes. Not that we don't think that, let me back up there. You were talking Fox Hollow and Homestead. We're not allowing people back in their homes right at this point in time. It's not that we feel that their homes or their structures are in danger, although we do have structure protection in place. But the fire at this point is not threatening any structures. But because the wind keeps kicking up and it keeps pushing to the east, that any of those small areas where we're still having some flare-ups may potentially be somewhat of a threat at some time as we move on. So until we are very comfortable with where this fire is at, we're going to keep people out of their homes for a few more hours potentially.
Is it possible they may have to find somewhere else to stay tonight?
It's possible that they may have to find someplace else to stay tonight, but not honestly likely. We are feeling very good about where the fire is right now, but again, in an abundance of caution, we want to make sure that this fire doesn't go anywhere. And it would be a bad thing, quite frankly, to have folks back in their homes and have to re-evacuate them.
Rhonda, we see little pockets that you're talking about popping up behind you. What is the wind like today? What is the fuel like, and how is that impacting this fire?
Well, you know, a lot of people think there's a fire season in Colorado, and actually there really is not a fire season in Colorado. We just have to have the right conditions for a fire, and conditions today were prime for a fire like this. We have very dry vegetation. We haven't had any perceivable moisture for quite some time, no snow, no rain. So all of the vegetation is dry, the grass, small trees and brush. So all it took was a spark and very gusty winds to push this fire from being a very small little fire when we got the first calls from folks seeing it on the south side of Morrison Road here, to as it expanded and grew very quickly to the east.
Any clue how this could have started?
We do believe the fire was human caused, but we don't know whether or not it was intentional or accidental. So we're asking that folks that may have been driving on Morrison Road right around 1:30 today, that may have seen the fire, may have seen some folks around the fire, if they could please contact us.
Do you know of any damage to the golf course or the park?
You know, the damage would be what we call flashy fuels, grasses that are burned, and some small bushes and maybe some small trees. And honestly, after a fire, you know, nature takes over, and sometimes areas that have been burned are much better in terms of health later after a fire has gone through. So right now, as far as I know, the only damage that you could say is there's been some of the grasses burned, some of the areas burned on the golf course, and also in Bear Creek Lake Park.
And just to confirm, no homes damaged, but also no firefighters injured?
No firefighters injured, no homes damaged. I know that the fire at one point in time was close to one of the bathrooms on the golf course, but as far as I know, it did not get to the bathroom.
Would you call today a success, considering just how windy and dry it is out here?
You know, honestly, today was a big success, you could say, with the number of firefighters that we had here in terms of mutual aid, came from agencies from all around us to help us out. We had more than 100 firefighters here at one point in time, and when you look at the potential for what this fire could have done, I think it was a very successful day.
Rhonda, clearly no lightning in the sky. What do you think started this, and what can people do if they think they saw something?
Again, human-caused fire. We're sure of that. Now, we don't know if it was accidental or if it was intentional. And we're asking folks who may have been in the area and maybe saw something, maybe saw someone in the area on the south side of Morrison Road where the fire started, to please contact us if they have any information that they may think would be valuable.
And it could have just been a careless cigarette butt. I mean, that's all it takes to get things going, right?
It doesn't take much, and one thing that people don't realize as well, besides, you know, you mentioned the cigarette butts, dragging chains. When you are towing a trailer, those things set off sparks, and just takes one spark in a dry vegetation area on the side of the road to start a fire.
Anything else you want people to know? Is there another takeaway people should be aware of?
You know, again, no fire season in Colorado, really. This can happen any time of the year. So when you are outside, if it's dry like this, you know, just be careful. And if you see something, obviously call 911. The quicker we can get on these fires, the more quickly we can get them out, and the more quickly then we're able to protect neighborhoods and folks' homes and businesses.
Is there a plan to keep fire crews on this fire overnight? Or is that too early to know at this point?
You know, we will be here as long as we need to be. We're looking for full containment on the fire, which means obviously a perimeter all the way around the fire, and us being very comfortable that that fire is not going to jump the perimeter. Sometimes what happens in fires like this and in larger wildland fires is that there is a pocket of fuel or something that's burning in the middle of the fire or somewhere inward from the perimeter. The wind, as we're experiencing right now, can pick up embers and carry them for miles, quite frankly. So we will be here as long as we need to be as comfortable as we can be that this fire is not going anywhere.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Welcome.
it.